On his way, he discovered harness racing. Joe started out in harness racing in the 1970s with his good friend and business partner, Ed Gold, and established the successful White Horse Farms. After the decision was made to disperse White Horse Farms, Joe decided to go on his own as a breeder and owner. In 1991, he and his wife, Joanne, established Windback Farms in Maryland and Delaware. The farm is a former Winfield's farm, home of arguably the greatest thoroughbred stallion ever, Northern Dancer. Of course, those of you who know Joe Thomson, that wasn't enough. He has since established several outposts at Windback Farm in New York, Ontario, and Pennsylvania. On his way, he built an outstanding broodmare band of well over 350 mares. By the way, I've asked Joe many times how many mares he's got. He won't tell me. He stands 37 stallions and owns shares in many more. He produced three horses of the year: Muscle Hell, Rainbow Blue, and No Camel Tandem. He led all of North America in 2009 in 2- and 3-year-old earnings. He got us. In addition, Joe's the president of the Standardbred Breeders Association. I work with him personally and often in an effort in Pennsylvania to keep our legislated purses and breeders aboards. Joe's a lot of help and very good connections in Philadelphia. They say behind every successful man there's a great woman. In Joe's case, Joanne was never behind him, but alongside him every step of the way. Every bit of Joe's success owes in some part of it to Joanne. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Joe Thomson, our newest harness racing Hall of Fame member.
Jim, I just want to thank you. You've been a great partner. I've enjoyed working with you in Pennsylvania. We've chased you for years and years and years, and one time we thought, I think we would try to get you again. So that's one of our goals. And Larry, for you and Janet, you all had a terrific day today. They're special for me, and I like how you adjusted the temperature so it's just perfect. So I don't know how to whose influence you had, but that's really good. I'd also like to thank the U.S. Harness Riders Association for my nomination and induction into the Hall of Fame. It's terrific. And there's some special people that have been fighting for me who have met for a long time. So those people know who they are, and I certainly appreciate that. My wife, as Jim pointed out, has been my sidekick for 40 years. We've been married for 40 years. She's been with me through all the harness racing that I've done and breeding, and she's put up with me. In fact, the funny thing about Joanne is I convinced her that we were going to get in the horse business, and it's going to be a good thing. And I said, and we'll get about 5 brood mares, and we will do really well with 5 brood mares. Give the insider information, 5 brood mares is what we are. In addition to my wife being here tonight, my daughters are here, and they have been very supportive. And I will say that if you are as lucky as I am, and you have family and daughters and wife and everybody that supports you, it's a wonderful thing, and you feel blessed because of it. So they've been very supportive, and they are the famed Thomson Sisters Racing Stable. So that's their addition to it. So I'm doing my part in keeping people in the industry, and the next generation, hopefully. Now we just have to get them to win some races. One time they were racing, and Ashley had moved into a new house, and she was rooting for a horse. Come on, come on, come on. It's a new bathroom. I need a new bathroom. So she ran out of the house. So that was really good. And then, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up our staff. Garrett Bell's our general manager. Jim Ladwick is our yearling manager. Well, Jeff Fout runs our training operation. He's been super. Sarah Mackey is our vet. So they keep the core business working really well. And then I've got Noelle Vespivia, who runs our New York operation. And she is, without a doubt, somebody you trust to do it. I very seldom have to talk to her because she's way ahead of what I'm thinking. So that's really good, and we appreciate all your effort. Larry and Jackie Dronsdale run our Canadian operation. We hired Larry when we took over the Armstrong operation. We started to lease from them, and so we have a Canadian operation. And Larry used to be the yearling manager, and he turned out to be the stallion manager for us. And Jackie runs the inside, and Larry runs the outside. So I guess that it's really good. I often think to myself, what would you do without that staff? Well, you wouldn't be able to do a lot of business. And I would compare it or make an analogy that it would be like a guy in a canoe in the middle of the lake without a paddle, with lots of ideas and a failure to execute. So, you need to have that good staff. You need to be able, in fact, a guy wrote a book one time that was talked about the speed to market. And what it was all about was that if you trusted the people that you worked with, then you can make a quicker decision and the execution of those ideas could be much quicker. And if you don't trust those people, then you end up in some kind of bureaucracy with committees and people, and you just try to achieve perfection, which it never happens, and those decisions can't go forward. So anyway, those are a couple of things I wanted to say, and thank a lot of people on it. As far as our business, we're in the business of breeding, raising, and selling yearlings. We also stand stallions, as it's been pointed out. Somebody asked me tonight, in fact, I'll get ahead of myself a little bit. One of the things about raising a yearling is that today, this year, we will be talking about what we're going to breed next year. Hopefully the mare will get in foal, and then you'll have a foal the following year, and the following year you'll sell it. So somebody asked me how the breeding was going, how are yearlings, and I said, well, it's pretty good. I guess they're going to be okay. If they tell me the yearlings are really good looking this year, we'll have a good time. But they're the decisions we made about 2 years ago. So we'll find out how dumb the decisions that we made 2 years ago are this year when we sell our yearlings. So it's kind of tough. As far as success, they talk about 3 horses of the year, and I think that's terrific. I mean, I just can't believe we did that. And in fact, for a long time, I just didn't understand how very special that was. And I guess in the last 4 or 5 years, I'm finding out that that's really difficult to have a horse of the year. And so anyway, I applaud those people that have horses of the year, and it is very difficult. A horse that we bred, which was not a horse of the year, but his name was Better's Delight. And Better's Delight, we sold him for $65,000. Here's a perfect story for you when you sell yearlings. We sold him for $65,000. He went on to earn $2.4 million, and they syndicated him for $4 million. And that was a long time ago. But that's a perfect story. Now, he continues to be one of the top stallions in the business today, and he stands on our farm in Ontario, which we're delighted to have him there, and it's great. We also had Muscle Hill, which I'm sure you all know. He was the one-year season's leader of all horses for the amount of money that he won in that 1 year. Now, those are some success stories. Some of the interesting horse stories, though, is that we have 3 or 4 horses that just went up, and hopefully Roger won't put the hook out and hit me with a cane or something. But no way. Thank you. But anyway, one of them was a filly I sold in Lexington, Tattersall's. Her name was Sanibel Island. And believe it or not, she sold for $5,500. I couldn't believe it. What happened to that horse? And they said, well, her leg turned out just a little bit, and maybe she could have been a little bit bigger. She went on to win about $1.7 million, and was owned by a fellow by the name of Lloyd Arnold in her final years, and he raced her a lot. But he and I became great friends after that. In fact, she is on our farm today. But she's not. She passed away. She hasn't passed away. She didn't make the list. But anyway, we got a lot of her family there. Another person we had was, you're talking about good staff and so forth, Muscle Hill was a problem. He had a little bit of a road spot. So when you're selling yearlings, you do not want that. And so we worked on him. Jim brought in the chiropractor. He brought in the, where they stick the little pins in their back and all that kind of stuff, and he got it down. And then when we sold him, he was in perfect order. So Jim Ladwick, who was our manager, was able to get that done. And then, as you all know, he went on to be one of the best riders ever. So I guess I'm thinking about getting a chiropractor myself to work on my back. Made me go a little faster.
He's working on my back.
That I wanted to bring up, and just as a interesting little story, a little tidbit, is Roll with Joe. Roll with Joe was the perfect horse. He was a Cam's Card Shark. He was a full brother to Bettor's Delight. He was a half brother to No Pan Intended. There was a couple of others in there that made a lot of money. And about 6 weeks before we were supposed to sell him, and I thought we would finally really light it up with him, he sticks his right rear foot through a metal gate and has a terrible blemish. Again, it goes to staff, and they worked on him, and we didn't get it just right. It was still a blemish when you're taking a sale. And if you sell yearlings and you have blemishes, you guys really criticize blemishes, I can tell you. And we really have to pay for the blemishes that we have. But anyway, he sold pretty good, and Tom Grossman bought him, and after that, the horse went on to be the 3-year Pacer of the year, and it was a great horse, and now he stands a blue chip in New York. So those are some of the things that are going on. Though, I would like to just say that I've worked with Jim a lot in Pennsylvania. We have been involved with Ontario, where we had a bit of a communication problem with the finance minister up there. He and I took each other on in paper. And as they were taking the slots away, so he said some things that weren't nice about me, and I didn't think he was too nice either. So anyway, that was something we did. But we learned a lot there, that the slots they were really a stimulus when they were put in. The casinos really rode the back of the horsemen in order to get slots at the racetracks. And what I think happened over the years, and I would say it's Pennsylvania, certainly in New York. In New York, I don't think it's had the problems that some of the others have. Ontario certainly had problems. And in Maryland, which is our home state, it was a giant mess. But what happens is that we got complacent. We didn't demand that the right kind of things that we should be doing as far as promoting racing needed to be done. We allowed the casinos to market their products more, and it was all about the money, and they went after the slots rather than to help us do our deal with the horses. And I think now, it hasn't been too long, but most of that happened from 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4. In Pennsylvania, it was like 2006. And we need to get our act together, and we need to figure out how to promote harness racing and get more bettors, more fans, all of those things together. And that's going to assure our future. If we don't do that, you have to remind yourself that these legislators that passed the laws, they came they come every 2 or 4 years, and there's a turnover. Some are really loyal to us and will help us. But the new guy, we've gone from an agricultural community to an urban community, city dwellers, and they really do not understand the needs we have in agriculture. They don't understand the needs we have in order to keep this racehorse in the agricultural community and stimulate that agriculture stimulus. So anyway, I just caution you, and that's my political statement for the evening, and I'll go for that. But it is an experience that most people don't have, and we've had that experience for having dealt with 4 or 5 different states. In finish, I would say that it is really something to be able to be involved with an industry that you love and that you perhaps can make an impact on. I don't know that anything is better than that, and I certainly thank everyone for allowing me to participate. I thank my family for being supportive, and certainly I thank the United States Harness Riders for this terrific award you gave me. Thank you very much. may never come off.
Can't wear rings. He's got the same problem.
Uh-oh.
No, he's allergic to
I can't help but say that to the remark about that horse that's passed away. Now we have the Joe Biden of harness racing.
That was uncalled for.